Welcome back, fans. Welcome back, WWAB Universe and the WWAB Network. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. Or for these purposes, welcome to show number 2 with the GOC Kirkland Esquire breaking down and previewing and reviewing the 64-person single elimination bracket-style tournament from Avi Klein's The Green Room. Now, fans, sit back and relax. We're going to be here for a good 30 minutes, maybe even 60 minutes. Let me lower the distraction down here in the bunker. What we're going to talk about here tonight is what happened, as I said, this past Saturday night in the first round of the Green Room. Now, I want you all to relax. The GOC is here. No. I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes. I'm not trying to take over a review show. No disrespect to the host with the most, my main man, and that would be Avi Klein. I'm here as alternative entertainment to support the Green Room. So you're not going to want to miss this, fans. I'm not going to start off talking about my first round matchup. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start off with a little bit of Perrier to stay refreshed here, to keep the golden smog lubricated for all the fans out there that are watching from the WWAB, and I greatly appreciate it. No dead air there, Avi Klein, no dead air. So, fans, here we go. We previewed and reviewed last week, if you saw my show, about entering and going into the first round. Well, you're going to want to stay here for this. This is the second episode. And as I said, we are going to try and attempt to, here at Chaos Corner, a little halls for the throat. We are going to try to break this down weekly before we get to Saturday night live, the Green Room. So even though I'm a participant, and I want it to be known and voiced here, because this was brought up this past Saturday night, and Avi Klein said it too, that we can all vote, even competitors can vote. Well, I want to start off by saying I have not voted in one matchup yet, nor will I. Now, I can't talk for Jay Brony. I can't talk for him. He's my voice on Facebook. We're going to have to get over that. We'll discuss that future episodes down the road. But I haven't voted once in this tournament for any other competitor. And I personally am putting out a protest to Pete from Sharpie, to Avi Klein, and to all the other Green Room competitors that if you're a competitor, you shouldn't be allowed to vote in other people's matchups. And what do you think about that? This is live to tape down here in the bunker, okay? We know about the dial-up internet. We're always making jokes, but this is live to tape, unedited, unscripted, raw. What you see is what you get. This is a one-man show. I don't have a bunch of things to cut people in and out, cut people off, bring people on. It's a one-man band. But we're not here to talk about that. Let's get on to the task at hand, because as a lot of people said, I'll go on and on and on and on about this. And I don't want to do that, because I'm here to talk about the first round in this past Saturday night. And hopefully I'll be able to review and preview this Saturday's show coming up for the additional matchups in round 1. But here's how we opened up. Avi opened up with an unbelievable video montage laying out the rules for the 64-person tournament and giving homage and paying homage and a video tribute highlight to all the contestants. And now we know that what this is for. I explained it on show number 1. This is show number 2, live to tape. This is to determine the host of the Green Room. The people that vote, obviously, are you, the fans, the most important thing out of all of this. Avi Klein also has a vote, and Pete from Sharpie. So the opening video montage was unbelievable. And fans, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday night, it's unbelievable if you want value and entertainment. It's the hottest going and growing and fastest movement in entertainment today. I've said it, and I'll continue to say it. Here we go after the opening video montage. Matchup 1 in round number 1. Night 1, if you will. Stephen Lee, the former Marine, against Pretty Paul Roma, host of Maintaining the Truth. First off, what an unbelievable matchup. These are a couple of things. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of what I took out of the green room. And I'm going to be impartial because that's what I do. Just because I am involved in this tournament, just because I'm a part of this tournament, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be speaking out. I'm here not to speak negatively. I'm here to tell it like it is. So I'm going to give you and lay out the good, the bad, and the ugly and things that I picked up on. This is just my personal opinion and viewpoint. Nobody's paying me. Nobody's giving me any ideas. Avi didn't ask me to do this. I'm doing this on my own. And if you don't like it, change the channel. I'm still distraught and upset, but we're going to get on to that. There's a lot of things coming out that you're not going to want to miss. This is what I picked up on Pretty Paul Roma and Stephen Lee, if you will. First off, the first thing that I noticed, Stephen Lee, former Marine, veteran, served this country, hero. He had a nice, beautiful, Old Glory American flag behind him. And what I noticed about Paul Roma, for maybe the first time, and maybe because it wasn't on Maintaining the Truth, so I thought about that. Maybe it's because he was on the green room. But Roma had no American flag behind him. I didn't like that. I thought it was ironic. I don't know if it was done with intent. I don't know if he saves it for just Maintaining the Truth. Let me adjust the camera angles here. Let me see what's going on here. You want to get a better view of the GOC. I got to tell you, the lighting, it's a one-man show. I told you that. It really is crazy. So I did notice that. I thought it was ironic. The video tributes were unbelievable. Roma's a natural athlete. I don't have to tell you about Paul. Not only the head trainer at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, Power and Glory, Pretty Wonderful, the Four Horsemen, the Young Stallions. We talked about Maintaining the Truth. I don't have to tell you and sell you I'm Stephen Lee, a real American hero, a genuine guy, one of us. He did some, again, let me adjust the cameras here, fans. Let me adjust the cameras. All right, I appreciate everyone getting with me as I get the overhead there. I know, when I tilt back my nostrils, I look like a two-car garage. I get it. Or if you hold me up by my ankles and walk me around and have me inhale, I could be like a vacuum cleaner. That's what you get here. And this is what you would get is if I was host of the green room. Do you see how easy the transition would be for me to be the host? But we're not here to talk about that. Back on to Stephen Lee and Paul Roma. So again, unbelievable. We go by the heads and tails. Steve called heads, and it was tails. So remember this, too, as part of the rules that Avi broke down. If he picks one of the two contestants' photos, it becomes a 2 out of 3. If not, it's one and done. It's a single elimination. So I just want the fans to remember and be reminded of that as we go through the matchups here. We're going to probably make this into an hour show. So Steve called heads, it was tails, so Roma goes first. And here are the challenges. I'm always ready, always doing my research, and that's what I continue to say out there. If you expect to be a host of anything, whether it's here in the bunker or the host of the green room or SNL, and we'll get on to that later because you know there's a correlation between the GOC and SNL and what happened Saturday night. I think it was planned, but we'll get on to that. Both men, Steve and Roma, showed mutual respect. They're two incredible guys that, with their history, unbelievable men. So they showed a mutual respect. I like to see that. The categories that Avi throws out there are the Vietnam War, Martin Scorsese films, and U.S. presidents. Okay, now remember, Roma gets to go first. Roma chooses presidents in his first question. I'm not going to break down all the questions. You'll have to go back and see the replay. You're not going to want to miss it. It was an unbelievable show. It's an unbelievable watch. Again, the fastest show in entertainment, what's going on right now. So Roma chooses out of the 3 categories. He goes with presidents. He gets the question right. Steve ends up choosing the Vietnam War category. He gets his first question right. So now they're tied at 1. Now remember, this is a single elimination here. 1 and done for Roma and Steve, which I hate to see it. Both guys are unbelievable. Second question for Roma with the U.S. presidents, and he gets it right. Roma's a smart man. There's not too many people that can get over psychology on Paul Roma. It's just a fact. I know the man personally. I've broken bread with him. Roma is Maintaining the Truth. And Stephen Lee, he's on his game in every form and way possible. So Roma gets the second question right, as does Steve on the Vietnam War. So we're 2-2 now in the opening round here between Steve and Paul Roma. We go on to the third question. Roma gets a question again. I believe the question about U.S. presidents, which one played football. Roma gets the question wrong. But here's the caveat. Stephen Lee also gets his next question on the Vietnam War wrong. So we're still 2-2. We're 2-2-1. It's still tied. So next is the promo challenge. What a way to open up a show. It's like being at a pro wrestling event and the first match comes out. Back in the day, the golden era, first couple of matches might be squash matches or jobbers, whatever they called it back then, enhancement talent. You open up nowadays and you open up hot to catch everybody, to suck in the audience. And that's what Avi did with opening up the show with Stephen Lee and pretty Paul Roma. It doesn't get any better than that. Next is the promo challenge. Avi lays out to Paul Roma that he has to do a Roma Nation promo. What makes Roma Nation special? What makes them tick? What makes them go? Roma goes off and gives a damn good promo on Roma Nation, which I'm proudly a part of. So that was the promo challenge. Steve, in turn, was given the assignment by Avi to give a promo on why he personally is a winner, which to me is a no-brainer. He was a winner just being in the military and for the type of man that he is. So that was interesting. Both men put out passionate promos. This is what I'm going to say. Things that I've noticed. We had to go to a vote and a winner after that. Now, here's who votes. Pete from Sharpie votes. He's the sponsor. Avi votes. This is his creation. And then you, the fans, get to vote. What you're going to hear next and what happened next if you watch it live or you go back and watch it, and what I'm going to say to you now, listen up. Roma lost and is eliminated. One and done was the end result of this. You're saying Big Daddy, Chaos, GOC, Kirkland. How did this happen? You see, as I knock things over, I'm going crazy down here because this was that much of an upset. The crowd popped. The chat room popped. Pete voted for Stephen Lee. Avi voted for Paul Roma. And it went down to the fans. And you're not going to believe this. The fans voted for Stephen Lee. As I said, one and done for Paul Roma. He's out. Stunning upset. What a way to start the night. I couldn't believe it. And things that I've noticed, Paul Roma, you might want to take advantage of this knowledge and things that I've noticed and that Jay Brony relayed to me from the chat room. One Mickey Doyle and one Rock Richards both voted for Stephen Lee. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because you guys have mutual respect, mutual kindness, two real men that tell it like it is, and you guys handled it like with honor, and even afterwards, the kindness and the respect. Roma said if he could lose to anyone, he would want it to be Stephen Lee, and seeing that Stephen Lee beat him, he wants him to go on and win the whole tournament, and Stephen Lee, it felt vice versa. So let's get that straight, the mutual respect from these two men. But Rock Richards and Mickey Doyle voted for Stephen Lee. Roma, you might want to put that one in the bank on that one. Things that I noticed, the good, the bad, and the ugly of what the GOC. Roma was very gracious. Certainly an upset. And it's interesting to keep track of who Pete and Avi and the fans vote for and who goes over. A true stunner there to open up the show. Next, we move on to another excellent video montage highlighting Adam Bomb, a.k.a. Wrath, a.k.a. Brian Clark, versus Fred Ottman, a.k.a. Tugboat Typhoon, the Shock Master. Listen, again, I've said it before, irresistible force meets the immovable object on this one. So beautiful video montages put together by Ivy Klein and his staff at the WWAB Network. So here we go. Typhoon, Adam Bomb, Brian Clark, Fred Ottman. Huge respect for both of these men. Huge fan of both of these men as entertainers. Two bright guys, very entertaining, until they come up against the GOC. Now, Fred calls heads, tails it is, so Brian Clark goes first. The categories that Avi picks here are trivia and debate in the categories. Now, Brian gets to choose, and here's what Avi came up with: 90s sports, 90s events, or 90s movies. 3 pretty good categories. Brian Clark, a.k.a. Adam Bomb, chooses to go with 90s sports. A pretty good category. He gets the first question right. Again, I'm not going to break down the questions. You'll have to go back and see them. I have enough here on my plate trying to put out the show. I want to get it up there for you, the fans. It's about you, the fans. Brian gets the first question right about 90s sports. Fred Ottman, a.k.a. Tugboat, gets to choose now between either 90s events or 90s movies. Tugboat goes with 90s movies. Bang, he gets his first question right on the 90s movies. Here is Avi to see if this is going to be a 2 out of 3. So we're tied at 1-1 here in the first 2 questions. Let's go to see if it's going to be a 2 out of 3. Avi pulls out the photo. It's a photo of Tugboat. Bang, this is 2 out of 3. And that's great because I want to see 2 of these guys in the future. Talk about star power. Yeah, you see what this is from, right? I'm getting ready to stick it somewhere where the sun don't shine, or the Asiatic spike back to Don Morocco, because that's how I feel after my round 1 matchup. And we're going to get on to that. So stay tuned. We're 15 minutes in here. Don't go anywhere. So we're tied at 1-1. We know it's a best out of 3 now. Second question, 90s sports. It was a question about the NBA. That's what stuck out about me. Brian Clark gets the question wrong. Here's the caveat. Tugboat still in the 90s movies category. He gets his second question wrong. So we're still tied at 1-1. If you want to go 1-1-1, we're still tied. We go on to a third question. Now, these are some tough categories. I believe it's 90s NFL for Brian Clark. He gets the question wrong. In turn, 90s movies again for Fred Ottman. He also gets the question wrong. A tough category with 2 legends here in the ring, now going legends with trivia. So I guess Fred Ottman's claims of useless information, he's the master of it. I guess that didn't age well here, big boy, huh? I guess not. So now they're on a roll here with getting the questions wrong, so they're still tied here. They go on to the debate round. Avi chooses debates. Brian Clark goes first. He has to come up with a debate or a quote or a promo, obviously labeling it as debates, on why Clint Eastwood is the best Western film cowboy of all time. Now, Brian Clark hit it out of the box with Clint Eastwood. He referenced a lot of great movies and a lot he didn't mention. But it was a good promo, and he's a big fan of Clint Eastwood, so that was the challenge. In turn, Tugboat had to come up with a challenge of the same challenge, but in turn, John Wayne. Why was he the best on film as a Western, a cowboy type? And let me tell you something. I'll say that to say this without casting my own personal opinions, because I don't think it's fair. Fred Ottman, Tugboat Typhoon, woo, woo. Let me tell you something. He hit it out of the box on that one. Out of the park. That one was out of here. He really laid it down about John Wayne. So I found that to be impressive. And here we get on to the votes. Again, pay attention to what's going on here. Pete from Sharpie votes Fred Ottman, a.k.a. Tugboat. Avi votes Brian Clark. So now we have a tie there. And who's the tiebreaker? You, the fans. The fans come up with the final tally, and it's Fred Ottman that goes up 1-0 in the best 2 out of 3. What an unbelievable matchup. The promos were pretty damn good, and Tugboat is something. It's great to see 2 stars and names and star power added to the lineup here with all the stars they have 7 days a week already on the WWAB network. So that itself. So Fred Ottman goes up 1-0 here in the second matchup. 2 out of 3. The future dates will be announced by Avi Klein on the WWAB network. A great matchup. Here comes the third matchup of a night. One that I've been looking forward to. Another great video montage that Avi has put together. The Murder Hornet versus the Killer Bee. Military vet and hero Eric Heron against Cauliflower Alley Club president B. Brian Blair. And these two had been going back and forth with some unbelievable promos. Eric came out of nowhere, and we know Brian Blair is, I said it on the last show, and I just want to be able to do this again. Not for anybody else but me. A buzz buzz. A buzz buzz. A buzz. I just wanted to do that again. That's me. This is my show right now. So here we go. The 2 out of 3, Avi starts right away with picking the card. B. Brian Blair's photo comes up, so this matchup, and I'm glad for it because both men are highly entertaining. This is going to be 2 out of 3 in the future of the Green Room to determine who will be the host. Blair calls tails. Tails it is. The categories are trivia and debate. Brian Blair, here's the categories that Avi puts out there. Major U.S. wars, sports movies, and stand-up comics. Blair picks major U.S. wars. The first question, again, I'm not going to give you the question. The first question, bing, right out of the box, B. Brian Blair gets it right. Eric comes up next, and he has to choose out of sports movies or stand-up comics. Eric chooses sports movies. Bang. He gets his right out of the box. First question, right. We're at 1-1 here. We're off to a fast start in this matchup. The Murder Hornet and the Killer Bee on the Green Room. So we're 1-1. Next question, again, U.S. wars for B. Brian Blair is the topic, is the category. He gets the next question wrong, but with that being said, sports movies, Eric got the second question wrong, so now we're still at a tie. Some tough questions that Avi comes up with. I don't know where he comes up with them. They come out of the box. I don't know who's writing this stuff for him. I don't know who gives it to him. I really don't know. But again, to make sure that both of these men get these questions right or wrong, to lay out this kind of questioning, somebody's getting it from a Mr. Trivia question or something of that sort. Did I just reference Mr. Trivia? I didn't really mean to do that, but big props anyway. Second question, they both get them wrong. So we're still tied. Let's move forward as we continue with B. Brian Blair and Eric Heron. We're on to question number 3. Again, it's U.S. wars. Let me get back to that. It's U.S. wars by B. Brian Blair and major U.S. wars and sports movies for Eric. Third question, Brian Blair gets it wrong. Third question on sports movies, Eric gets it right. Now, Eric is up 2-1, which I consider to be a huge upset right now with the way B. Brian Blair could talk and the way he cuts promos. I mean, he's better than Leaping Lanny Poffo. That's just my opinion. We move on to the next category of what Avi puts out there. Now, remember, Eric's up 2-1. This is the best 2 out of 3, so no one's going anywhere. Debates. B. Brian has to come up with a debate that Avi puts out there of why the 80s was the most entertaining decade of all. That's the promo/debate that Avi chose for Brian Blair. And listen, I was a man in my 20s in the 80s. No better time. Brian Blair cut a promo, a debate of why the 80s should be out as the best decade. And I'll echo his sentiments. I mean, it was rock and wrestling. It was the MTV era. It was pre-WrestleMania. It was the golden era. The Mets beat the Red Sox. I had started my career behind the walls. What a time, the 80s of decadence and movies and music and dance and culture. The 80s, just coming from my own personal viewpoint, was amazing. It really was. And Blair really related it out there. But with that being said, Eric's promo and debate that Avi gave him was, why was the decades of the 2000s a more entertaining decade? And Eric hit the nail on the head. He put a lot of entertaining things out there of the 2000s. Now, I personally didn't agree, but Eric laid it down smooth like a jazz musician of why the 2000s were so influential. Again, from a younger generation, Eric was born in the 80s, while men like B. Brian Blair and myself were in our 20s in the 80s, so I get the generational gap. But Eric, not only a military hero who I served, but he laid it down. Give him a lot of credit. So the votes were coming in. Here we go to the board. Pete votes Eric. Pay attention to who Pete from Sharpie's voting. This could be a clue moving forward. Avi votes Brian, so we have a tie. It goes to the fans. Again, no one's being eliminated, but it's who's up 1-0. We go to the fans, all the votes come pouring in. Now remember, there was over 1 million viewers Saturday night. There's been on a streak of the WWAB platform, over 1 million viewers on every show, 7 days a week. But in particular, the Green Room as well, over 1 million viewers alive. It really is unbelievable. And that's why I say the fastest, hottest growing movement in the entertainment industry. Go to the fans, and that also came out dead even. It was a draw all the way around. So I don't know what happens now. It's still a 2 out of 3, but they ended up as Pete voted for Eric, Avi for Brian. It ends up 2-2 tie. The fans couldn't come up with a decision either. It was a draw. Where else do you get that? In the green room, the first draw. So an unbelievable matchup, I will say, highly entertaining. And then what comes up next and what Avi Klein continues to pull off, whether he brings in Mark Henry, Antonio Banderas, Sally Kirkland, Timothy Busfeld, William Dafoe. The list goes on and on. It's a who's who in the world of film, entertainment, sports, music, pro wrestling, TV. It doesn't get any better than what Avi Klein has done here and what he keeps pulling in and pulling off. And I'm not blowing smoke because we have our own personal thing going on too. It just happened. I didn't plan it that way. It was ad-lib and organic. So here were the mystery contestants that Avi pulled in from the entertainment world. Andrew Cassese. Andrew Cassese. You know who he is. Wormser from Revenge of the Nerds, a legendary actor. Now I say that, Revenge of the Nerds, and that movie because that was probably his biggest role, but a true thespian in film and theater, and what a legendary actor. And Andrew Cassese and Revenge of the Nerds and that whole pilot and series was one of my favorites, speaking of the 80s, against a true legend from the Police Academy trilogies and however long that went on, and several other movies and film and entertainment and comedy and improv and impersonations, perhaps one of the best in entertainment, Michael Winslow. That was the matchup. Revenge of the Nerds versus Police Academy. Avi Klein pulled it off again. I had goosebumps watching that. And what followed after that, an at-depth, in-length interview with Michael Winslow and his improv and impersonations was amazing. So just to be a part of a contest with these two gentlemen in it and these two stars from film, the big screen, from TV, what a humbling experience. But don't forget that if I have to go up against either one of you, if I make it out of the first round, and I think I will, I'm coming back. I am. I have confidence. I'm coming back. Let's get on to Andrew and Michael, two legends. First off, it's 2 out of 3. So these stars will be back. That's what you get here on the Green Room, like you get on no other platform. So I'll give Avi Klein, again, big kudos for that and big praise. So here's the matchup. Michael calls heads, it's tails, so Andrew goes first. Here's what the categories that Avi comes up with for these two legends, these two icons in film and TV. Andrew chooses trivia, and Michael chooses improv. Right up both people's alley, especially Michael Winslow and what he did. So let's get on to what happened on that. It was unbelievable. You have to go back and view it for yourself to see what really went on with these two stars. Here we go. Continuation of the Green Room tournament. Night 1, round 1. Andrew was asked, as Avi came up with the trivia questions, what would be, in his opinion, or what was the scariest film for a live audience that you would have to offer smelling salts for the fans? And he gave him a choice. I don't remember what they were. I know one of them was The Exorcist and so on and so forth. But literally a film from back in the day or just a film in general that scared the bejesus out of the fans out there, the population. And there's an actual statistics for this. But the bottom line is Revenge of the Nerd there, Wormser got it wrong. I was very, very surprised by that. It was a tough question. I answered it and I got it wrong myself. So, and I don't remember what the answer was. So go back and watch the Green Room, please. You're not going to want to miss it. Next, Michael Winslow gets a choice from Avi on doing improv, impersonation. And here are the categories. Oprah Winfrey surfing the waves of Australia. Rambo playing darts, or Gizmo Gremlin on a date. Those are the categories. Talk about your oddball categories. I don't know where Avi Klein's coming from. Earth to Avi. Avi, come in and one Avi Klein. Great choices. Michael picks Gizmo. He does an unbelievable impersonation. He ends up doing all 3 impersonations. Talk about improv, impersonations, and stand-up comedy. You missed this one, fans. You better go back. It's worth the price of admission. This is on a free platform. 9 p.m. live every Saturday night. Facebook, Twitch, soon to be on Patreon. Fans, if you're missing this, I don't know what the heck to tell you. It was unbelievable. He did all 3 impersonations. The one he did of Rambo playing darts was priceless. Just my opinion. Just for that alone, Michael has to win the first round. Just my opinion. We move on to the trivia. The second question. Wormser, a.k.a. Andrew Casase, is asked about which horror film, what was the horror film that won the first Oscar? I didn't get this right. I don't know what the choices were, but Andrew got it right. And the first horror film to win an Oscar, anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? Andrew knocked this out of the box. And I know I keep using that phrase because it's apropos. He gets it. Silence of the Lambs. You remember that one? Silence of the Lambs. You can't make it up with these legends. Michael then has to choose between different impersonations. So now it's 1-1 now. Andrew gets his question right. I believe it's 1-1. Michael got the improv. Now Michael chooses for an impersonation. Avi lays out the choices and he chooses Jaws as a vegetarian to do as an improv. It was unbelievable. What Michael Winslow did, for as much as I respect Wormer, Andrew Casase as an actor and what he's accomplished in his career, a true gentleman and pure class, what Michael Winslow did Saturday night and then the interview following and this improv was something I've never seen before to his extent and to his caliber. What a pure talent. It really was unbelievable. So that's how they ended up off that. We go to the votes now. Okay? It really was unbelievable. And again, don't forget, it's 2 out of 3. Pete votes for Michael. Avi votes for Andrew. So what are we at again? It seems to be the trend here because of all the extreme talent. As we're 30 minutes in here on the preview of the Green Room here at Chaos Corner with your old buddy, the GOC. It goes to you, the fans. Now, the fans vote, and nothing against Andrew. I'm going to say that to say this. The fans saw it. The chat saw it. I saw it back when I was sitting in the Green Room. Michael Winslow wins the fans' votes. So he goes up 1-0 against Andrew. But the good thing is that both of these legends are coming back to the Green Room, along with many other stars. You never know who's going to show up on the Green Room. That's what Avi Klein has done. So in all, to see both these film stars and TV stars on the same platform as that we're all on, let me wrap myself up here a little bit, because that's how I feel, because we're coming up on almost on my segment. So, I'm not happy about it. Fans vote 2 out of 3. Michael Winslow's up 1-0, so both guys will be back. And then Avi went on to an unbelievable interview, of, I guess about a half an hour or so of Michael Winslow going through his career. And it was an amazing listen. Go back and listen to that, fans, because you're not going to want to miss it. Perhaps the best part of the show. I'm cutting myself short, I know. We come back from the interview, the intermission, so to speak, and we go right into a video montage of something that's been brewing since 1999. And that would be El Duque, Mike Duke the Dumpster Drosy, and his old buddy, Rich Masadi. Nice video montages. Again, I'll give kudos to Avi's staff. Here we go. Right off the rip, Avi pulls and wants to find out, because both men are extremely talented, been going back and forth on social media. We know that Duke is a legend, has several shows, Road to Recovery, his own show. He's saving lives. It's unbelievable what Mike does every day, and that's a shoot. That's his shoot job, his shoot life, and it's unbelievable, but one highly entertaining guy. Avi picks Duke's photo, so it's a 2 out of 3. I'm happy to see that, because although both can be future competition, if I'm fortunate enough to get past Pinocchio Ho, and I will. I'm not cutting him short, but I'll get past it. It ain't over. 2 out of 3. I like to see that. The categories are improv and promos. Okay? We start off with one game that I've learned from here on Avi Klein, the alphabet game, where you start off with the alphabet with a question with an answer. There'll be 2 rounds of this. If you've never seen this game, if you've never played this game, try it yourself. It's one entertaining and one hell of a game, the alphabet game, and that's what Avi starts off with here with the first challenge. Duke calls tails, and heads it is, so Rich goes first. But Rich, in turn, because these guys have history, using a little mind game, a little psychology on the man who's the master of psychology, Rich reverses it and lets Duke go first. Good strategy. Not bad strategy. So Duke goes first. First point goes to Drosy. It was unbelievable. You start off at A, you answer with B, C. Fans, go back just for that segment alone. I know I keep saying about all the different segments, but that's what you get on the Green Room. It's not just one thing. It's not just one segment. It's trivia. It's entertainment. It's improv. It's stars. You never know. It's legends. That's what you get, and that's what makes it different on Avi Klein's The Green Room. I keep telling you. So we go back on that. We're tied at 1-1 now. It was very entertaining. Back and forth. First point, Drosy. Next point, Rich. We're tied at 1-1 in round one. We come up as we go on. Duke missed a letter. I believe it was the letter K, so he was disqualified. Rich wins the next round, and now Rich is up 1-0 and wins round one. Duke and Rich, again, you could see the history between Duke and Rich. The very both intelligent guys, both linguistically non-challenged, kind of like Avi Klein, myself, and several other great speakers, including my good friend Mario Mancini. You know, linguistic. You get it, right? You understand. My fans understand. They're really bantering and going back and forth. You could see it boiling over in the history between these two. We're on to round two. Avi comes up with a game called Tell Me a Story Impersonations. Rich calls tails, it's heads, so now Duke goes first. Duke chooses to start with an impression of Rambo that was second to none. In turn, Rich has to do a promo of Ozzy as a bouncer. That was pretty good, too. This was highly entertaining. I'll have to tell you what Avi comes up with. Give him a lot of credit. We go down to the votes. Pete votes for Duke, a.k.a. Mike. Avi votes for Rich, and we go to the fans again. See, the fans have a lot of say in these matchups and these shows. That's how it's interactive, and that's why you make, to quote Avi, you are the engine that makes this run. It's the truth. A truer statement has never been said by Avi Klein. We go to the fans, and the fans, Rich fans came out in droves. I don't know where all the fans in Tennessee were. I don't know where Duke's fans were. Rich wins the first game, and the fans' vote really was unbelievable. You talk about Roma and Stephen Lee being a shocker. This one was a shocker so far. Remember, it's 2 out of 3. No one's going anywhere yet. The only one who's been officially eliminated thus far, shockingly, has been Pretty Paul Roma. We go on to round 2 of the improv. Rich and Duke. Duke does a Mike Tyson. Now, everyone will say Mike Tyson's an easy impersonation. Anyone can do Mike Tyson. Like Pete from Sharpie said, you can close your eyes and hear Mike Tyson. That's how good El Duque's promo was of Mike Tyson. In turn, Rich has to do an imitation, an improv, an impersonation of Beavis that Avi came up with. And not one time did Rich say, Cornholio, or Bungholio, or TP for my bunghole, TP for my cornholio. Oh, here comes cornholio. Do you have any TP for my bunghole? Not one time did Rich, for as smart as he is and well-spoken as he is, and cuts a hell of a promo, and I guess he's got a background in the industry, you don't refer to that. I saw that right off the bat. I told you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we go down to the votes. Pete votes Duke. Avi votes Duke. The fans don't even get a say because it was 2-0 for the votes. So now we're tied at 1-1. Again, this is a barn burner. We go to the tiebreaker. Duke does a Mr. T impersonation of playing an accountant that, again, if you close your eyes and Mr. T, who I was a big fan of in the 80s, you know his wrestling history from WrestleMania 1 and the war to settle it all, score, the brawl to settle it all, MTV Days Rock and Wrestling. It doesn't get any better than that. He really did an unbelievable impersonation of El Duque. This is right up his alley. And then Rich had to do one of Bugs Bunny being a cheap tipper. You do that one more time, Rich. I thought it was very, very over the top. I'm being honest. The good, bad, and ugly. And not one time did you say, what's up, Doc? What's up, Doc? Or rabbit season. Duck season. Rabbit season. Duck season. What's up, Doc? Not one time did I hear you say that, Rich. I'm not trying to cut up your promos, but you had 2 opportunities for such a talented guy for Beavis and Bugs Bunny. But you know what the bottom line was? Pete voted for Duke. Avi voted for Duke. No votes for the fans. I thought you were slipping here, Rich. So now Duke is up 2-1 overall. They're tied 1-1 on the improv. Okay? If I got my stats correct here, Avi Klein, and I know you're watching. We go to the promos. Because these two are so highly competitive and have such a history, it felt like this one in particular matchup went on much longer than some of and had more of an opportunity than maybe some of the other people because of the rivalry here. So it makes it understandable. They go on to promos. Mike calls heads, it's tails. Rich lets Mike go first. Again, you see the strategy that Rich is using here. Duke has to be a food critic for his promo. Avi comes up with this. And Rich has to do a Simpsons ad exec promo on why it should be canceled. Now, the food critic, Duke, is usually spot on with everything. So whatever Duke does is usually pretty damn solid. I'll give him credit for that. But Rich sells it, and Avi picks up on it on an ad exec of what you would have to be as someone to go in and cancel, or why you wouldn't sell the Simpsons. And Rich did it like it was really his job, and he sold it and made it believable. Avi bought it. I bought it. The fans bought it. Rich, you redeemed yourself on that one. We go to the vote. It really was an impressive promo, an impressive sell by Rich, who, again, like Eric, are people that have come out of nowhere for an opportunity of a lifetime on the green room, and they're stepping up to the plate. They really, really are. So we go on to the vote. Pete votes Duke. You notice there seems to be a little collusion. I don't want to have to say that word. Pete has voted all down the line for Duke. I guess he knows where his bread is buttered. He knows where the money is. That could be the man taking out the trash. Duke Drosy. So Pete votes for Duke. Avi votes for Rich, and it's down to the fans. The fans pull a lot of weight in the green room in this tournament and on the WWAB network in general. The fans come up, and Rich's fans come out in force. Again, I'm surprised. The fans did it for a second time in this matchup, and they voted for Rich. And another shunning shocker, one that stunned me. I feel like I got stung by the Murder Hornet and the Yellow Jacket and the Buzz and B. Brian Blair and everything else at once. That's how crazy I got over this match as much as Roma. So he's not eliminated, Duke. But now Rich is up 1-0, and it'll be determined when they come back. Huge win, upset for Rich Masadi over Duke, and El Duque is not too happy about it. We move on to a segment that I'm just going to breeze right through here because I'm not happy about it, but there was a lot to be said for this segment because it was set up right around 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At the same time, the world-renowned Elon Musk was hosting for the very first time Saturday Night Live. So Pete and Avi chose to bring on the GOC and Pinocchio Joe to stack up against viewers and prime time against Saturday Night Live and Elon Musk. Smart move, Avi Klein. Smart move, Pete from Sharpie, because you did it. By then, all the fans had filed in, and they were going back and forth between SNL and the green room, SNL and the green room, Elon and Chaos, Musk and the Guardian, bada bop. We'll throw Pinocchio Joe in there because he did represent. It ain't over. Let's get on to the task at hand, and I'll breeze through this. Again, GOC, yours truly against Pinocchio Joe, or as they call the Doyle henchman, PJ. The good thing that came out of this, because I'm not going to like what I'm about to say, Avi pulls PJ's pitcher, Pinocchio Ho, as I say, and it's 2 out of 3. So at least I had a little leeway there. Avi and I, before we even went to that, and Pinocchio Joe was on, and we were talking about SNL and Elon Musk, I feel like you've been personally attacking me, Avi. There's something happening here, not on purpose, but ad-lib and organic between you and I don't know why. I like you, Avi, but you've been insulting me, cutting me off, putting me down, challenging me. I'm not here to take your job. I could never. I admit that. You're the man. But if you keep barking up this tree, Avi Klein, I'll show you what I know all about the entertainment industry. But I notice you have a bone to pick with me? Voting against me, putting me down? And let's not to mention that you said GOC is get out clown, get out clown, get out clown, get out clown. Remember, get out clown. So I feel like, and as we move on through this, there's something going on, even with the votes. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to breeze through this. We're about ready to wrap it up. We're 45 minutes in here talking the green room with the GOC. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I call heads, and of course, it's heads. But again, I try to use a different strategy. After Avi says, get out, clown, I let Joe go first. Here's the challenges that Avi came up with. Promo challenge first. I'm not sure if I like the categories. I don't know if he was feeling us out. I don't know if he's trying to give kudos to Pinocchio Joe, give him the edge. I don't know what he's trying to do. But I felt like I wasn't called up to task. I felt like I didn't get a chance to show my true side, my talent, my whatever it is you want to say, my je ne sais quoi, if you will. Because Avi stepped on me. You gave me boring challenges. What could I do with what you gave me, Avi Klein and Pete from Sharpie? What could I do? I don't know. So here we go. The promo challenge. I let Pinocchio Ho go first. And his promo Avi comes up with is, tell the fans or everyone out there what the Guardian of Chaos's weaknesses are in his opinion. How could this guy know anything about my weaknesses? You only know what I choose to let you know, what I let you see. So for you to even come up with a hypothetical on my weaknesses on someone who doesn't know anything about me, except from what you see on TV, camera, videos, and stuff from the past, you got to be kidding me. So I thought that was a bad choice right to begin with, and I feel like there's something going on here. But I'm going to roll with it, and I'll prove myself if I have to. I will continue. Look, I even got a little spittle right here because that's how upset I am right now. We're distraught. You'll see. You'll see. You'll see. So he goes on with his promo. It was total BS. Didn't make any sense. He was a little more well-spoken than I thought he was, and I'll give him credit because he has a background similar to mine, but nothing like mine. You still can't see him. He refuses to identify himself. He wants to say, I got a big mouth, but I back it up. This guy talks like an oversized elephant in a 2x4 room trying to go for a little piece of cheese. Just to have a little bite. You can't see what he looks like. He's all covered up. So you're going to sit there and talk about me being a loudmouth and wearing chains and projecting an image and wearing glasses and chains and everything else like that? At least you can put a face to the mouth and a mouth to the video and to the product and to the brand. With you, who the heck knows who you are? You shouldn't even be allowed in this tournament. There's something going on here with the Doyles. There's something going on here. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to figure it out because the chaos is coming. My promo was as why is Pinocchio Joe was inferior, and I hit the nail right on the head. Avi and Pete are saying that I didn't respond to the question in the right way, and I didn't tell him why he was inferior. I said exactly why he was inferior and what he didn't know about me. So I don't know what you guys didn't understand. So we go to the votes. The fans were taken out of it, which I didn't like to begin with, because I don't care if the fans like me or don't like me. They all have the brain of a dehydrated baby anyway, and Avi Klein used that on me, and I don't like that either. Those are the good, the bad, the ugly. So no fans on that vote, but here's the votes. Pete votes for Pinocchio Joe. Avi votes for Pinocchio Joe. This is too obvious of a setup. It's just too obvious to me. I'm just telling you how I see it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And thank God that I went back and I looked through the chat, and Jay Brony lets me know what other people are saying because he's got my eyes, he's got my back, he's my ears. Thanks for the compliments from Duke the Dumpster Drosy and David Holliday. At least you guys recognize real talent like a lot of other people are not recognizing out here. Like Howard didn't recognize. Like James from Right Guard didn't recognize. Like Jessica didn't recognize. Like Rock Richards didn't recognize. And Pete from Sharpie doesn't recognize. And I don't even think Avi Klein recognizes. Get out, clown? Really? So PJ now, Pinocchio Joe, Pinocchio Ho, is up 1-0. The next promo is Pinocchio Joe on why he should be the host of the Green Room. And I'll say it like I said live on Saturday night. He sounded like Bob Newhart on Ambien. Talk about the brain of a turnbuckle or a slug on hot pavement. I mean, once he got going, I guess you could at least understand him. So I'll give him this much credit. I don't want to give him too much credit. I don't want to underestimate him. So he goes on on how he would bring in the military, different stars. Maybe he'd reveal himself. Maybe he'd expose himself or show himself. That's why he shouldn't be allowed to be in the competition and be host of the Green Room to begin with. You know what you get with me. I'm proving it and putting it out there and showing it right now. You know what you get with me. Yes, and I could tone it down too. I can tone it down. But this is entertainment. You get me full of piss and vinegar and get me all boiled up at this. This is what you get. I'll go on and on for days, hours, time. I could do this all day, every day. Let me calm down here. Let me back it down. Let me take a deep breath. Hold on, fans. Everybody hold on. We're 50 minutes in, and if you didn't stay, you lose. This is the Green Room preview review from the Guardian of Chaos. You got to stay hydrated, though. You got to stay hydrated. I notice Avi Klein doesn't do that during these shows. Avi, you got to stay hydrated. If I can give you any tip for anything, stay hydrated during these shows. There's got to be a break. You got to be able to stay hydrated. A little aquavase, Avi. That's all I'm asking for. So here we go. So he goes on and on with his promo about what he would do. It's a hypothetical. I don't even know why Avi asked the question. Again, you can't even understand the guy. You can't hear him. He's talking through a mask. He looks like a sheep, maybe a sheep in wolf's clothing. But again, not impressive. No energy, no verve, no vigor, no intensity, no emotion. How could this have happened? Someone tell me how this happened. So then my promo for the GOC is a promo on the Doyles, who I think you're putting me on the spot. Yeah, Mickey Doyle has a big mouth and has been interrupted and sent his henchmen, so to speak, and has his back, as does the rest of the Doyles, including the one in the competition. I even seen the daughter say, oh, why does this guy keep talking about my father? I keep talking about him because he put his nose in my business. It's just that simple. He got involved when he didn't have to get involved. Sending me messages, texts, inboxes, messengers, all this different stuff about different things about Pinocchio Joe. It's not your business, Mickey Doyle. So I got to cut a promo on the Doyles, who I don't even really know, except I know Mickey's history, that he was a pro grappling legend. I already gave you credit for that. That's enough. So again, I feel like I was set up. I feel like I got bad questions, the wrong answers, things that had nothing to do with anything about my talent or my performance or being on the Green Room. I was on here originally to help people. And look what has happened. So that was my promo. I thought it was dead on about what I was talking about with the Doyles. I know what I'm talking about, but how am I going to give you a promo on something that I don't know anything about besides going to the internet web base or Wikipedia and what I've seen on Mickey Doyle? Really? That's like trying to find my career or the career of AK-47. AK-47. Yeah. AK-47. So we go to the votes. Again, Pete votes for Pinocchio Joe. It's already a big setup. The big setup is in. Surprisingly, Avi voted for me because he said it pained him. It hurt him to say this, but he had to go with the Guardian of Chaos. That shows you that someone who's supposed to be impartial towards the Guardian of Chaos and towards this whole tournament and towards the Green Room, he's not being impartial. If you fans are missing the undertones of what's happening here and how I'm being set up to fail here, I don't know what you're watching. That's just the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. But I got a surprise for everyone, especially Pinocchio Joe. So we go to the votes. The fans have to vote now, and I love all the fans. I know I said I didn't care, but you know that I love yous. I do love all the fans. They've been great to me over my near 4 decades of being around the ring and film and TV and music and entertainment and all the different things and careers that I've done throughout my life, from the good, the bad, and the ugly of society. Remember that. So the fans, I connect with them, heel or not. They know they feel safe and protected, and they're going to get it like it is with the Guardian of Chaos because I tell it like it is. So I'll say that to say this. The fan votes came flooding in, and who won? Of course, the Guardian of Chaos won the votes by the fans. Avi called it. It was called. It was said. It was done. The votes were in, and I was declared the winner, and it was up 1-0. And then something happened. Avi let more votes come in. As we were bantering and going back and forth, I won fair and square. Go back, like Warner Wolf said back in the day. Let's go to the videotape. Let's go to the videotape. I won. I won legally by the fans' votes. I was up 1-0. It was signed, sealed, delivered. It was called. It was finished. If I knew they put it in the books, it was over. And then as we decided to go on and talk more, Avi started getting more and more angrier. I don't know. Maybe drinking a little bit of the haterade? Avi? Huh? A little bit of the haterade? And then you let other votes come in and trickle in after it was already called, and you gave the victory and a decision to Pinocchio Joe. It's fraud. It should have never happened. I got screwed. Again, I referred to the Montreal screw job with Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart, the legendary screw job from the WWE. I'll refer to the green room screw job of how David Holliday and Howard Collado and even Collado, I'll say, and even Mickey Doyle got screwed because now look at the tournament. And Pete from Sharpie screwed them for the green room screw job. Well, now I'm going to say this is the green room tournament screw job. It's official. It's out there. I reviewed the tape. I won the matchup. I should be up 1-0. I'm filing an official protest right now to whoever I have to follow to, whether it's Judge Kim Laurinaitis, Judge Duke the Dumpster Drosy, Judge Pompous Maximus Pompous, if he's even alive. And we'll get on to that before we wrap it up here. I got to put it into someone. The sponsors, Pete, come on. This was a setup. So, and to top it off, he used my line again, Dehydrated BB, to try to poke fun at me, to use my gimmick. Avi, I don't know what you're doing, and then you predicted flat out in front of everyone that Pinocchio Joe is going to win this and go up 2-0 and just win and shut me out of the series. I'm going to be swept. He's going to take out the broom. That's what you said. I don't know why, but that's what you said. So I'm down 1-0. Yeah, I'm emotional. I'm distraught. But I'm coming back. Like the legendary Homicide, 187 Homicide said to Jason effing Knight when we were in a 10-man barbed wire match. It's on Facebook right now. This ain't over. It ain't over by a long shot. Doyle's, Pinocchio Joe, the green room. This ain't over. Let me get back onto the rest of the show and wrap it up here and keep at an hour. So I'm down 1-0. Stay tuned. Site to be determined, time to be announced on the green room every Saturday night live. We wrap up the final matchup with my old buddy and arch enemy who's constantly rock blocking me wherever I go. Always in my way. And that would be one Rock Richards. This is the 7th and final matchup of the night. Rock Richards against Judge Pompous Maximus. Another beautiful video montage. And Avi even insulted Rock, saying he's an independent wrestler. He'll always be an independent wrestler. I don't know. AK-47 versus Rock Richards. I'd love to see that one. Beautiful tribute to Rock Richards. But you've been in the way, Rock, and I hope if I survive this, that I see you again, and I will, Rock Richards. You can put it in the bank. So Rock Richards, beautiful promo. I'll give credit where credit's due. He's a big man. He's a good-looking guy. I'll give him credit. Yeah, okay, so he's not the sharpest tool in the box. I'll get it. He's not the brightest bulb. You get the gist. And I think that he has it all over on Judge Pompous Maximus, who I don't even know who he is, but he looks familiar. So they bring in Rock, and Avi even throws another shot and says, Rock, finally, you're in the main event. You're the last matchup. You're in the main event, something you've never been in your career. How did you like that, Rock Richards? I hope you put that one in the bank. You're in the main event, the big time. You made it, Rock Richards. So Avi goes to a video from Judge Pompous Maximus. And he says once and twice and 3 times. I thought it was a technical issue because, he's always having technical issues. You know that, right? There's always technical issues and I got to get blamed for it. But I thought it was something technical. They finally come on with a video of Judge Pompous Maximus with the long silver hair and the thick glasses, looking like a leftover reject from a Kentucky Fried Chicken promo. Maybe he hangs out with David's Jubilee. I don't know. And he slumped over, looking like he's poisoned, or I don't know if Avi saw a knife. He's yelling, "Knife, knife," like a fat kid hollering for cake, cake. Avi's yelling, "Knife." And Rock Richards is denying it. I had nothing to do with it. I was here for a matchup. I haven't heard or seen this guy. I've been on social media and haven't seen him anywhere. So I don't know if Rock Richards will be implicated. Avi was yelling and screaming like a 5-year-old girl looking for her Barbie doll, or maybe a 1-year-old looking for the Binky. And Pompous Maximus was like this, and we go, screen goes black. Poisoned, a knife. But that was it. The end of the green room, the first round and the first night. Don't you dare miss it. 1 hour in the books.